that everything that is being said, you know, you can't say, well, this is my language, so on and so forth, or it can't be understood, in a wrong manner. Um, I can't think of a word right now, but I do believe there are plenty of like Spanish words that sound very similar to negro. Um, but like someone might hear that, someone that isn't aware with the Spanish, for example, they may hear you say that and they may be offended, and it's their right to be offended. You may not have been vicious, you may not have been aggressive, you may not have been wrong in your mind, but you still offended them. If I walk around with a knife in town, if I walk around with a knife, with a giant machete, right, people may run away from you. And you may not mean them any harm. You're just walking around with a machete. You're like, yo, I like this machete. I want to walk around with it in town. You might, not have an issue with that in the slightest. You may think, well, I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm not attacking them. I'm not going after them. I'm not saying I'll kill you. I'm not doing anything of that sort. I'm just walking around with a machete, bro. But they're still going to run away because they'll still be afraid of what you could possibly do. And that's the way you got to look at it all. That just because you don't think it's wrong, just because you don't think, I'm not harming anyone, doesn't mean you're not causing distress to someone else. And that's just kind of like the point I wanted to get across. I don't even know what I said, if what I said makes sense, right? In my mind it does, but I don't know if it does with what I said it and how I said it. I could go into like the legal background, the legal aspect of what is what and what not. But there is a reason why in law we have such a thing as recklessness. I guess in the UK it's more so Cunningham's recklessness. But there is a reason why we have recklessness. Because oftentimes we have absolutely no intention. Absolutely no intention to cause harm. But recklessness is still a thing. And I think that's exactly what happened with the assistant referee. He was reckless. Well, okay, he was necessarily racist. Should he officiate a game again? No. Why? Because referees are role models that people will look up to do right. Football is a game of adrenaline, tensions, hormones, so on and so forth. Once you're in a competitive spirit, adrenaline flies everywhere. The tension rises. People go crazy. For those 90 minutes on the pitch, people go crazy. As a referee, you're supposed to have a calm head. You're supposed to be the mediator. You're supposed to be the friend, but not friendly. The enemy, but not vicious. You're supposed to be there for the players. If they have a problem, they can come to you. Their boss, but also not the manager. You're supposed to be the leader. And if you as the leader, granted this was the fourth official, but if you as the leader, as one of the leaders, as the guiding principle, as one of the guiding foundations of what is supposed to be right and wrong, at least on that pitch, if you as the person in control, in power, the person that can give penalties. I'm not talking about penalties on the pitch, I'm talking about penalties, as in like a yellow card and a red card, or a free kick. If you're the person that makes decisions, if that is who you are, if that is the role that has been bestowed on you, if you have all that and you're still reckless with your words, maybe intentional, who knows? But I give him the benefit of the doubt. I think he was reckless. I think he was wrong. Not vicious, but wrong. If those things apply to you, I don't think you should referee a game again. I don't think you should ever be a leader of people again, because they won't respect you. And how are you supposed to lead people if they can't respect you? So that's why I don't think he should ever be a referee again. Which some might say, well, that's harsh. If you think that he wasn't, intentional, that's harsh. And yeah, but that's life. How many people out there have ever said something wrong that they didn't mean, and then our relationship was ruined just because of one instance? You might not have meant it. You might have just been a little bit of an argument between you and your spouse, and then you say something and you didn't mean it. Because it's so hurtful, the relationship is now strained and ruined. Plenty of us have had that. Plenty of us wish that they could go back and change things. But that's not the nature of life. Life is not that kind. Life is not that forgiving, and life holds no prisoners. It's a difficult choice, but I think he should never referee a game. I also, in a way, feel sorry for him, because now he'll be known as the assistant referee who is racist. When I don't think he was racist in the slightest. I think he's just ignorant, reckless, and foolish. But at the end of the day, that's life. He might, he had absolutely no malice, but that's life. The UEFA, not just the UEFA, but football in general, the people in charge with football in general, FIFA and UEFA, their whole slogan is no to racism. You can't have one of your leaders, your appointed leaders, be insensitive, culturally insensitive, and let's be honest, respectless as well. Again, there are ways to identify and profile people. Maybe that's the wrong word, profile people, but there are ways to identify someone's characteristics. But there are also negative identifiers for people's characteristics. And not because, there's nothing wrong with being black. There's nothing wrong with being white. There's nothing wrong with being any color. There's nothing wrong with being part of any culture. But because of the historic negative connotations with certain phrases, with certain words, with certain profiles, with certain descriptors, that's why it's wrong. And that's really what it boils down to. That's why it's wrong. But look, humanity will never understand each other. With globalization, we've come a long way, I will say that. But there are also plenty of issues with it as well. With globalization, I feel like racism is even easier. Fearing others is even easier. I'm going to pose a question here to my fellow Europeans. How many times have you heard someone say, we don't want refugees? We don't know what they'll bring. They'll cause havoc. They'll cause panic. They'll cause a crime rate to rise. And maybe statistically, maybe that is the case. Maybe the crime rate has risen. Maybe financially everything's a mess. Maybe there are justified and valid reasons to feel that. But still, there is a negative, I want to say negative, a disrespectful and a negative connotation that you place on other people that may not be those things. They may be the most nicest people out there, but just because you view them all, in a bubble, you view them all in one big group, you can't see the trees in the forest. You can't distinguish individuals from a group. And No, it's easy to look at groups because we as humans we like to group things a lot of the times. I do. I most certainly do as well. I'm no exception to that. I like to group things a lot. But we also have to look at the exceptions. And yes, some things may get worse. That is very much true, and obviously we don't want that individually and culturally, and you know what, maybe even financially. But to look at something, in a bubble and just be like, you know what, fuck him. It's just wrong. It's just wrong. All right. And I'm not the beacon of morality. I'm far from it. I'm probably the worst person to listen to when it comes to morality because, quite frankly, I say whatever I want to, and people can say whatever they want to me. So I'm the worst person you should listen to. But the one thing that I have learned a long time ago, and the one thing that I take into consideration, is that I never say anything to anyone that they would deem offensive. I know what I can say to the people that I speak to. I know how I can speak to them, and that's how I talk to them. For example, I know certain friends of mine, I can say whatever I want to them because they'll say whatever they want to me back, and we all know at the end of the day that we don't mean anything harmful. There are certain limits we don't cross. But besides that, we know, what, whatever we say, it's just in a joking manner. It's just in a friendly manner, in a banterous manner. But I don't just go up to a random person in the street and be like, yo. Actually, I won't even go there. But I don't go up to a certain person on the street, on a random person on the street, and just say something that I would say to my friends. Because even though I may say it in a joking manner, in a banterous manner, in a humorful manner, they may not like that. They may not agree with that. And that's kind of the struggle of balancing. That's kind of the struggle of being human. Balancing what one person may think is okay, and another may not. Does that mean you're a bad person if you can't balance it? Not necessarily, no. Does that mean that the other person shouldn't be offended? No. So that's what it boils down to. That's what it boils down to at the end of the day. But anyway, that's just my take. Because this is a sensitive topic, I know people will feel very strongly about certain aspects of it. And you know what? Let me know your thoughts. And I know it's kind of futile for me. It's kind of futile of me saying this. But please respect everyone's opinions in the comment section. The best way to have a dialogue, the best way to have a discussion, the best way to have a talk, and the best way to talk about things and learn and grow is to have a Socratic dialogue. Debate your points, but keep it respectful. That's all I'm asking for. Alright? Anyway, I'm going to sleep. And while I'm going to sleep, I'm going to upload this video. Or audio, I guess. So I won't even see the comments from people until I wake up, which will be joyous. I can tell exactly the kind of comments I'm going to get for this one. But it doesn't matter. Because at the end of the day, this is my thoughts on the situation. This is my thoughts on the topic. And if you disagree, I want to hear your thoughts. But yeah. Good night, I guess. Peace out. And bye.